And I would like queer persons to stand in solidarity with me right now. Queer blacks, trans black people, stand in solidarity with me right now. Earlier today, Naomi asked about a name, Tony McDad. No one knew him, no one knew the name. Very little person knew it, and I'm very emotional about it right now. Before I go on, my name is Sean Claude. I am a trans masculine person. And I am literally here sharing my experience about my blackness, as my experience as a black man. And I've never expected this, so just here goes. A few weeks ago, my partner and I were walking our dog in the park in by Marnixstraat. I can remember it was midnight. There were some non-black people gathering in the park, laughing and drinking. Bear in mind, it's after midnight, so you can imagine how loud they were. Soon after, a police car drove by with their spotlight pointed in the direction of the park. They spotted me, I spotted them. I grabbed my partner's hand, who happens to be a non-black person. We started walking home, then I heard voices coming from the microphone of the car. I only picked up Zwarte Jas. I was wearing a black jacket. I gripped my partner's hand tighter. We then saw the police driving towards us on the feet spot. We stopped on the sidewalk to make way for the car to pass. But they stopped and flashed their headlights, indicating to us to cross, and we did. The car then slowly drove, watching our every move crossing the street. They then made a U-turn in our direction, slowly still watching us. Realizing there is no threat, they continued on their way. From start to finish, my heart was pounding aggressively out of my chest. When I got home, I asked my partner to support me through the anxiety I was feeling a little after midnight, just before my bed. I started with this story to make a very obvious point. They don't see my transness, they see my blackness. I started my physical transition in December 2016. And as I watched my body change, so did the world around me. Did it change really, or did I start to experience life as a black man? Yes. The story I share was just one of two encounters I had with the police since my transition. My first encounter with the police was literally a police calling me ugly and black while I was pulled over on a bike whilst riding. Apparently I was biking in a non-biking zone in the red light district. I wasn't aware that there was a sign there. That night I drank a whole bottle of wine. Me sharing my encounter where my blackness interpreted as a threat is seldom. I would sometimes share with my close black male friends, and they will hold space for me. As I still struggle to articulate my experience, there are times when I share and I am told that I'm not as a threat because I'm not fully man, whatever that means.
Black Lives Matter!
Tell that to the security that follows me around in the store. Tell that to the white woman that sees me walking in her direction and pull her purse closer to her side. Tell that to the person in the gay bar that holds their pocket at the bar counter as I stand next to them. Unfortunately, I am now a part of a stereotype. The black man, criminal and dangerous. Mainstream media amplifies this stereotype and do not seem to care if the person is trans, as seen in the case of Tony McDad, a trans masculine person who was killed by the police during his arrest, as he was a suspect in a stabbing in Miami, USA. I have read several articles which place emphasis on his criminal history, talking about Tony's earlier breaches with the law should not diminish his humanity of this being a person who is now dead and certainly shouldn't diminish the fact that society failed him. Prior to his death, it is alleged that he was stabbed and killed. He stabbed and killed a man said to be one of 5 who had beaten him horrifically because he was trans. I stand here today sharing my experience as a black trans man. Remember, I rarely talk about these encounters because of how traumatic it is for me. Because I could not be silent anymore after realizing the queer phobia amongst the black community contributed to the death of Tony. Queer and trans black people face the same racist violence as cis black people, whilst also enduring transphobia amongst our cis black siblings. And unfortunately, there has not been much solidarity for Tony and other queer blacks killed among the black community, also in mainstream media. So I leave you with this. If your pro-blackness is homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, ableistic, fatphobic, and sexist, it's not pro-blackness. I repeat that again. If your pro-blackness is homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, ableist, fatphobic or sexist, it's not pro-blackness. It's trash. Also, dear white people, is white people is racist, man. Thank you.
Voor elkaar de applaus! Don't let your pro-blackness be trash. Don't let your pro-blackness be trash. Oké, heel veel mensen melden zich aan om iets te zeggen tijdens de open mic. Ik moet zeggen, de open mic is, de lijst is vol. Oké, want we doen maar tot 6:30. Zoals jullie weten zijn ze extra streng wanneer wij dingen organiseren.